Welcome to Pedagogy for Equity Metacognition. We are all aware of the need to adapt our pedagogical approaches to suit the learners in our classroom. During this session, we'll look at metacognition and the pedagogical approaches that may help close the poverty-related attainment gap. This short video is not intended to make you an expert in metacognition, but instead give you a starting point to consider how you can develop your own practice. Throughout this video, there are pause points with further reading to consider should you wish. As we know, we're in an ever-changing world and we need our learners to develop meta skills that they will need for life. Developing these skills as a natural part of everyday learning and teaching will empower young people to be successful learners and confident individuals, ultimately allowing them to reach their fullest potential throughout their learner journey and beyond. In this session, we will focus on metacognition. Let's start with why metacognition and what is it? The EEF suggests that disadvantaged pupils are less likely to use metacognition strategies if they are not explicitly taught. The recommendations say that teachers should acquire the professional understanding and skills to develop pupils' metacognitive knowledge. Teachers should explicitly teach metacognition strategies, including how to plan, monitor and evaluate their learning. Teachers should model their own thinking. They should set appropriate levels of challenge. Teachers should develop metacognitive talk in the classroom, and teachers should explicitly teach pupils how to organise and effectively manage learning independently. Schools should also support teachers to develop these approaches. Let's explore a few of these recommendations a little further. In the video, we heard about the importance of developing metacognition skills to plan, monitor and evaluate. The EAF suggests that when planning, pupils are encouraged to think about the goal of their learning, set by the teacher or themselves, and to consider how they will approach the task. This includes ensuring they understand the goal, activate relevant prior knowledge about the task, select appropriate strategies, and consider how they will allocate their effort. Pupils are encouraged to monitor their learning while undertaking the learning task. Pupils assess the progress they're making. This includes self-testing, self-questioning activities, and making changes to their chosen strategy. Pupils should also learn how to evaluate their learning approaches, appraising the effectiveness of their plan and its implementation. Teachers can explicitly teach these skills by prompting pupils with examples of things they should be considering at each of the stages of the learning task, to prevent this process from being a clunky add-on. The guidance also suggests that challenge needs to be set at an appropriate level and that teachers shouldn't expect pupils to develop new cognitive and metacognitive skills at the same time. If challenge is not set at the appropriate level, one or both of the following may occur. The learner will not accept the challenge, it's too hard, motivation goes, or the learner will suffer cognitive overload, it's just too hard. To ensure the learning activities do not demand too much of the working memory and cause cognitive overload, we need to teach coping strategies such as using mind maps, taking effective notes, thinking aloud to work through problems, or breaking tasks down into smaller steps. Teachers can support this process through the use of structured planning templates, teacher modelling, worked examples, or breaking down activities into their constituent parts, revealing one part at a time and in sequence. If pupils have to undertake a task that makes them struggle, they are in fact more likely to recall information from that task in their long-term memory. Just like Goldilocks, it's crucial that the level of challenge is just right. One of the most effective teaching strategies to promote metacognition is to model your thinking, making the thinking process explicit. In Primary 1, this may simply be the teacher explaining how they use their fingers to count on. In Primary 4, the teacher may explain every decision they are taking when articulating the drafting and redrafting process that is essential to all good writing. They visibly level up the writing and address any errors with the pupils. In S3, the science teacher may explain every decision they are taking when carrying out an experiment. The aim is to move the learner from a shared thinking experience to an independent one. Building and thinking aloud, it is also worth considering metacognitive talk that's taking place in the classroom. How can you, the teacher, ask those questions that you want your learners to eventually ask themselves? At the planning stage, what do I need? What do I already know? How will I approach this? At the monitoring stage, how am I doing? Is what I'm doing working? Do I need to change anything? And at the evaluation stage, what went well? What could have gone better? There are no right or wrong questions to encourage learners to ask themselves. As we support learners to become more independent in their learning, guided practice can be useful. Guided practice is simply when the teacher guides the learning, providing useful scaffolding and support. As learners become more confident, they can undertake this practice independently. Feedback is an essential part of guided practice as learners understand how well they have developed their skills and strategies. As well as supporting learners to move from guided practice to independent practice, teachers also need to support pupil motivation. So what do practitioners who have developed this pedagogy say? Throughout this video, we've explored what metacognition is and what it can look like. By explicitly teaching metacognition skills, you will support all learners. But we know from research that you will allow those impacted by poverty to make gains that can increase both their attainment and, more importantly, develop life skills. From this session, what has sparked your interest? What will you do with the learning you have gained? What are your next steps? Thank you for watching, and we hope this video supports your metacognition journey.